Jöreggelt kívánok, hogy vagy, jó? Hmm. Good morning. Start of another day. And boy, I went to bed last night. Not knowing if I was going to wake up, to find myself in crisis mode or in in Tom mode, so to speak. But as you can perhaps surmise, there's your 50-cent word, surmise. As you can perhaps surmise from the look on my face or the tone in my voice, I'm in Tom mode, and hence the video. Because if I were in crisis mode, then I don't think I'd be doing a morning video. But on the fence of life. What a great expression. On the fence, or the other side of the fence. And the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, but on the fence, and that refers to my thoughts about the about selling this house. And I gotta tell you, I guess what a great situation to be in, huh? It's one thing to have a an asset like a house in and by itself. That's one thing. It's another thing to be in a situation to have a house and kind of be on the fence, if you will, about whether to hmm, whether to sell it or keep it. But I woke up this morning and I thought that I should get online and just thank all of you. Thank all of you that took the time. Amanda, you wrote such a thorough. You always write such thorough, responses and thoughtful and considerate. I mean, anyway, that thought just popped into my head, and as quickly as it popped in, I pushed it out because it probably, anyway, the now everybody's going to be wondering what that thought is, alongside wondering why they can't put in any type of a message. So I get distracted with the little messages that pop up as I do my live talk show and talk show, my live YouTube show, or whatever the hell you want to call it. I get distracted with the little pop-ups. So today I was playing around and I saw that I could actually upload a little cover thumbnail on my video, and I can turn off chat. So sorry, guys and ladies, I turned off chat for this one. But anyway, so on the it's as far as on the fence and the house, and thanking all of you that it's interesting how many people that and I'm grateful how many people actually care, what happens, and care enough, I should say, how many people actually care enough to share their opinion or their thought about what the hell happens in my life. But hmm, some really great advice. The individual that suggested that I call the Dave Ramsey show. For those of you that aren't familiar with Dave Ramsey, you should listen to him. He's a syndicated radio talk show host that talks all about wealth and money and what have you. But excellent, excellent suggestion to call into the Dave Ramsey show. The next week, as I'm sitting at my desk, I'm going to have the number for his show on speed dial, and God willing, I'll get through to good old Dave. I've gotten through to a couple national talk shows like that over the years. One being the Glenn Beck show. I've gotten through to him more than once when I was living over in Budapest, and I may have even gotten through to Rush Limbaugh. I can't remember about that, but anyway. So what am I going to do? I listed my house. I listed my house at 285. 285, and I told the realtor that I said, when I pull out of this place and I see that welcome to Georgia sign, I said, I want to have $250,000 in my pocket. Okay. And I said, not in small bills. I want it in big bills because my pockets aren't that big. You know? So she said, okay, okay. And I said, not 255,000 after I paid, this escrow fee or that closing fee or this or that. I said, I want $255,000 in my pocket in large bills as I see the peach on the sign that says, welcome to the state of Georgia. You are now leaving Florida, the land of humidity and bugs and snakes and all that other crap. But anyway, so we will see what happens, and it'll be interesting to see what, if I get through to Dave, what Dave says. And George, your advice was great as well. Go out and travel the world and what have you, and just leave this ball and chain behind. And your advice was great as well. Because I got to tell you something, I'm not the same guy. When I'm traveling around the world, like in that Turkish bath. Just go back and watch the video of me and Agad in the Turkish bath, and just look at the smile on my face from side to side, and how much happiness that traveling brings me. So it's really a interesting dilemma to be in. But as far as the I lost my train of thought there. But anyway, I'm getting old, I guess. But I know what I was going to say. So getting old, of course. So I mean, you can have all the fun in the world, such as traveling around and all that kind of stuff. But fact of the matter is here I stand at 55 years old, and I can close my eyes, and it seems like yesterday. I can go back 20 years from now. I can go back 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when I close my eyes, and it seems like it was yesterday. It seems like it was just yesterday, and I know that just as I can close my eyes and take myself back 20 years, I can close my eyes and see myself in 20 years. So that's another consideration. And a lot of times people don't have the foresight in their life. They don't look ahead. They just kind of think things are going to work out, or hope things are going to work out, and they don't have the foresight in life. And I just like now, I find myself at this point in time where I'm 55, trying to use due diligence and having the foresight of what are my 60s going to be like, what are my 70s and my 80s going to be like, and so using due diligence to try to anticipate that. I wish I had that same state of mind, that same state of mind is the right phrase. I wish I had the same state of mind when I was 20 years old, 30 years old, and I was thinking about my future insofar as my financial disposition as well, but insofar as my health. I wish back when I was 20 years old, smoking and drinking and partying and all that good stuff. I wish that I had the mental ability to close my eyes and think, boy, I can think back to when I was playing in the sandbox with the little trucks, and it seems like it was just yesterday, and I know I'm going to be, now I can blink my eyes and see myself when I'm in my 40s and 50s, so I better take better care of myself, so I was driving down the road yesterday on my way to get a bite to eat, a hamburger, and I found myself thinking that, doing the whole video thing, it provides really a good opportunity, just like Skip Smith. You know, it provides it can serve a purpose, and just as Skip Smith, you know, really helps a lot of people out there with information about the villages. Um, you know, I mean, you can use a video, you can use something like this for other good purposes as well, and that is, you know, the anybody out there that watches these videos that's younger, perhaps like my nephews or what have you. I would imagine that a good portion of my family watches these videos, and perhaps some of my nieces or nephews might watch these videos, perhaps. But anyway, take care of yourself. You know, stay away from the drugs, stay away from the alcohol, stay away from the, you know, the smoking and all that other crap, and just be conscientious about your health. Make exercise, you know, such an important part of your day-to-day routine and what have you. But anyway, that's about all the advice you're going to get from me today. And you know, speaking of hamburgers, last night I wanted to go out and get a hamburger. I wanted a hamburger. I wanted a hamburger and French fries. Talking about healthy, right? I wanted a hamburger and French fries. And I wanted a good hamburger and French fry, you know, one of those really big ones and juicy and dribbling all down your face and everything. And I was going to go to this place called Ford's Garage, like Henry Ford. Henry Ford. I was going to go to Ford's Garage, and great hamburgers there. You can Google it. Ford's Garage, Fort Myers. Just go look at their menu. But anyway, so I was sitting in the jacuzzi last night, and there's this guy in there, interesting character. I don't know his name, but he's about 70 years old, and he's just a very happy-go-lucky guy that I think he comes down here for the winter, or maybe he's down here all the time. But anyway, so I said, "Where's the best hamburger in town?" And as the conversation evolved, you know, he just kind of willingly volunteered the fact, "I go out to dinner every night." I said, "What do you mean you go out to dinner every night?" 7 nights a week, 365 days a year. I go out to dinner every night. And I said, "Wow." You know, I said, "No kidding." You know, and he said, "Every night." And I said, "That's got to set you back a little bit." He said about, oh, I spent about $2,000 a month. And these other women in the hot tub were kind of looking at each other like, is this guy for real? You know? But anyway, $2,000 a month on going out to dinner every night with his significant other. And anyway, so I said, "Boy, that's got to be pricey." And he just matter of factly, he just says, "Well, I get $9,000 a month." I said, $9,000 a month, huh? I said, "You did pretty well for yourself." "Oh, yeah, I was a plumber." I said, "You were a plumber?" I said, "Like you had a plumbing company? A big plumbing company?" "No, no, no, I worked for the state." I said, "What state?" He said, "Connecticut." I said, "You work for the state of Connecticut?" I said, "Is the $9,000 a month, what is that, a pension?" "Yep, yeah, that's my pension." I said, "You get $9,000 a month as a pension, and you were a plumber." "I was a plumber for 40 years. Worked in the state prison. I worked in the state, I worked in the state penitentiary. 14 years I worked overtime, 7 days a week or something like that." And, you know, I looked at him, and he was so happy. And I said, "Bless your heart." I said, "Bless your heart." And then I said, "You know," I said, that's a big problem for a lot of states." I said, "They have guys like you on huge pensions, and they can't afford it. You know, they can't afford to pay these huge pensions." And then he said, with a smile on his face, he said, "I know." He said, "Illinois is the worst." Something like that, you know. And and I started thinking about that. I started thinking about the fact that this guy is getting $9,000 a month. And and of course, I mean, he's 70 years old, I'm 50, 55, 56, and I find myself thinking, okay, where am I going to be in that amount of time? And I started to share some of my financial information with him. And I always, I'm always willing, and I don't know if eager is the word, but I'm always willing to do that because you tap into the experience of those people that have been down the road that you're traveling, and you tap into that, you tap into their knowledge, you tap into their experiences, and you ask them, and I, quickly ran my numbers past him. I said, I got this much in my retirement account. My house is worth this much. I have, et cetera, et cetera. And he looked at me and he said, you're doing well. You're doing great. He said, wow, you're doing great. You're 55. You're doing great. and and I started to think, as we were in the shower room together. That's a whole other thing, going into the shower room. But so we're in the shower room together, and I lost my train of thought. I started thinking, I had this visualization of us in the shower room together. There we were yesterday, me with an Italian, a Polish guy, and it sounds like a joke, doesn't it? I was in the shower room yesterday with an Italian, a Polish guy, and myself looking at watching a video of these two girls take their tops off in Iceland. And I know what I was going to say. So I found myself thinking to myself, where's my $9,000 a month going to come from when I'm 70 years old? Where's my pension? Where's my pension going to be? And that kind of takes me on to the next thought for the day, and that is my work. I said I went to bed not knowing if I'd wake up in a crisis or not. And what an interesting situation I've got. I've got a, and I'm not going to be too technical here, but all of my clients' websites, or any website for that matter, sit on what's called a server. A server. It's no different than your computer in your house, but it has software that facilitates serving websites. And like Hillary had a server in her basement or something like that. But anyway, so when it comes to a guy like me and websites, I have a few options. I can put my clients' websites on a shared hosting environment. Shared means that I'm on that server with every other Tom, Dick, and Harry. We're all using the same server, and some company is managing it. And the challenge with that is that, the good thing about that is you don't have to really worry about too much. But the bad thing about that is that being on a server with all these other Tom, Dicks, and Harrys, and maybe Betty's and Sue's and Linda's, I don't know. But being on this server with all these other people, it kind of makes the website go slower. There's more activity. So several months ago, I moved over to what's called a VPS, private, or I don't know what the hell the acronym is. VPS, Virtual Private Server. It's a virtual private server. And I'm still on a server I'm still on a machine. They call it a machine. I'm still on a computer with other people, but it's configured differently. And I have direct access to the server. So I can log in remotely. They call it a remote connection. I can log in remotely and do certain administration things that I feel confident about doing, and what have you. But anyway, long story short, I've been having this challenging situation where they did an update to the server recently, and it changed something such that almost every hour, I get an automated email saying that my IIS CPU usage has status has turned from green to red. And the CPU is the central processing unit on the server. And anyway, so I've been having these spikes on my server, and trying to figure out where these spikes are coming from. And it's something that's been just really challenging for the last few days. So I've been recoding my website. And in hopes of trying to address this. And so last night I was on the line with support, and we clicked on something maybe that we shouldn't have clicked on, and it basically threw everything into haywire. So I went to bed last night with my clients' websites not down, but taking minutes to load in somebody's browser. And it was late, I was tired, and I had the confidence in these people at my hosting company, which is GoDaddy. I had the confidence that they would resolve it. And I woke up this morning and knocked on wood, and lo and behold, the websites were resolving. That's what they call it, resolving. RESOLVING, resolving. So if you pull up a website such as ABC Auto Care or something like that, the website will resolve. And one of the challenges that I'm having, for those of you techie people out there, you'll hear every now and then on the news where something will happen in the news with some company or something, and they'll say, that company's website crashed. Their website crashed because of they were on the world news, and they had so many people going to look at their website and what have you. And the long and short of it is that when somebody types an address into a browser, what happens is a request goes through the internet to the server, and then the server gets that request. It's like somebody knocking on the door. The server gets that request, and then it has to put everything together, okay, and send it back. Well, the servers can only handle so many requests coming in at one time, and that is that's one of the challenges of running your own server, so to speak, is you have to anticipate all of these requests coming in. And they have out what are called bots. Google has bots. It's a BOT, and these are automated software programs that go out and crawl the internet. And whereas you may go to a website like jimstrans.com, and you might look at 2 or 3 or 4 pages over the matter of a minute or two, when a bot hits that website, it might look at 100 pages in a minute. It just sequentially goes down and hits those pages. So anyway, and that all causes processing time and all that kind of stuff. But so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to write a program to differentiate between the good bot and the bad bot. The bad bot is that pimply little faced kid up there in a basement somewhere in New Jersey, trying to see if he can get in and hack into websites. And then the good bot is Google and Bing and all that type of stuff. So I'm writing a script they call it. I'm writing a program that basically identifies a bot. If somebody's hit that website or that server 10 times in less than a minute, then I run a program. And that program basically says, this is a good bot or a bad bot. If it's a bad bot, then I add it to a blacklist. And the next time they come knocking, I say nobody's home or something like that. But anyway, a lot more information than you probably need to know. But it's interesting. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was thinking about the situation that I find myself in with my work, and the concept, not the concept, but the thought of there once was a time in my life when I suffered, if that's the right word, from the fear of failure. Fear of failure. And I was talking to a guy not too long ago, and it was interesting because he was in his 30s, and I hope he still watches my videos. But he does he's programming a lot like I am, and he threw that phrase out to me. He said, "You know, Tom, I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of failure." And and I said, Ralph, that's not his name, but I said, Ralph, I said, you only fail when you stop trying. That's the only time you fail, is when you stop trying. Stop being afraid of failure. But Google that. Just Google, type that into a browser, fear of failure. And it's a problem that it's a challenge that a lot of people face. And it's a challenge that I faced for years. Fear of failure. And the other challenge that I faced for years was lack of confidence. That was one of my big ones, lack of confidence. And I still have a little bit of lack of confidence when it comes to certain aspects of programming and what have you. But anyway, so that's about it. I need to get on with my day. I need to get on with my day, and I've got, looking ahead, today is what, the 5th? So I have the better part of about 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks. And I have, when I left for Europe on this recent trip, I had pretty much consolidated a lot of my stuff. I think it was Amanda, beautiful Amanda. Amanda, you're a beautiful, beautiful lady, a beautiful soul. But I think it was Amanda that's emailed me that I had inspired her to kind of consolidate her stuff. But anyway, so I've got most of my stuff in boxes. The size probably no bigger the size than the bed of a 2019 Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck. So the boxes that I have could probably easily fit into the back of a Dodge Ram 1500 pickup truck, and I'm putting all my stuff in storage. Anything that means anything, everything and anything that means anything to me, and I'm putting it all into storage, and I'm pulling out of here. And like I told the realtor yesterday, I said I want to be able to close an escrow. Walking on the beach, and I want to be driving down the road in the Great Ocean Road in southern Australia with a guy named Oz. And I want to get a phone call from you that that the house is in escrow, and you're going to be faxing me over a something to sign and fax back or something like that. And I'll never have to come back here again. So that's my hope, and goal is in the next 2 or 3 weeks to get everything that I own that's near and dear to me, to include Alexa. Alexa, volume 5. Alexa, what's the weather in Melbourne, Australia?
In Melbourne, Australia, it's 61 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies. Tonight's forecast calls for more of the same, with a low of 55 degrees.
Low of 55. It's 60 degrees right there in Melbourne. So that's not bad. It's summertime. Alexa, what's the weather in Budapest?
Right now in Budapest, Hungary, it's 34 degrees Fahrenheit with snow. Throughout the day, you can expect more of the same, with a high of 36 degrees and a low of 28 degrees.
36 and 28. Okay, one more. I'm going back to Lisbon. Alexa, what's the weather in Lisbon, Portugal?
In Lisbon, Portugal, it's 46 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies and sun. Today's forecast calls for more of the same, with a high of 58 degrees and a low of 38 degrees.
Alexa, volume 2. Lisbon doesn't sound bad. 60 degrees. 60 degrees and whatever. Lisbon is probably very similar to San Francisco, the weather and everything. But I'm going back to Lisbon in a couple of weeks, and I'll be there for probably the better part of 2 weeks, I think, and that'll be nice. I'm going to go back down to the Algarve. I'm going back down to the Algarve, and I'm going to walk on that nice trail along the coastline down there. But and then maybe go to a couple of other nice spots while I'm there. But anyway, so that's about it for my morning thoughts. It's kind of nice doing the morning thoughts without the comments popping up and distracting me. Not that I don't like the comments, mind you, but it's can be a bit it can be a bit distracting when you get all those comments popping up. But you know, in closing, I will say that don't think for a minute, that I don't realize and appreciate and am not grateful for you know, the ability to be in the position that I'm in life. I was watching a motivational speech by Arnold Schwarzenegger the other day. You might look at that. You might look for that on YouTube. Just type in Arnold Schwarzenegger and motivational speech or something like that. And he'll be up on a podium with a beard, and he's older, but and then he talks about what it takes to be successful and what have you. And he in that speech I was watching the other night, he was talking about, you know, how many people, what percentage of people never reach their goals or don't have a goal. What percentage of people hate their job that they're in and everything. And you know, so don't think for a second that I don't appreciate the situation that life has afforded me. And it hasn't always been a bed of roses for me, you know, by any stretch of the imagination. I've had more than my share of hard times, and I still struggle. With you know, certain health challenges and what have you. You know, I still have some stuff going on the side of my face that you wouldn't know it unless I told you. But the very fact that I can, you know, sit there and, as I did yesterday on my video, and point at a map and say I want to go here and here and here and here and here, I can't even begin to tell you how much I take that, you know, how much I appreciate having that ability to do that. And then you know, there's something else that yesterday I got an email from a client that said that he let some guy go that has been with the company for the better part of 30 years, and the guy is about 70 years old. And it was this guy is he became somewhat of a friend of mine. And so there's a guy waking up this morning who's about 70 years old, and has been working for this company for the past 30 some years, and he got let go yesterday. So those of you out there that you know, talk to the man upstairs on a regular basis, say a little prayer for this guy, that the good Lord looks down on him and takes care of him. So you can say a prayer for me as well if you want. But anyway, let's do a high hope. Credit the effort. Change your focus. Give credit to yourself and others, and especially your kids, for the effort, not just the successes. It will inspire them to greater heights. Credit the effort. Change your focus. Give credit to yourself and others, and especially your kids, for their effort, not just the successes. It will inspire them to greater heights. And here is the quote from Mark Twain, who said, "When you cannot get a compliment in any other way, pay yourself one." So there you go. Have a great day, everybody. And as my dear dad would say if he were here, I love you all. All right, take care.